Sometimes it seems like the world is run by chimpanzees, even though some of them might come with college degrees. It's getting hard to separate the facts from fiction, but I think I can say with obvious conviction that in this old world, everybody's wrong but me.
Welcome to Uncommon Sense, the show where sense matters more than dollars and truth matters more than political correctness. I'm your host and uncommentator, Charlotte Laws, and these are my accomplices in radical thought. First, the lovely Lana Ford, the star of stage and Hollywood and Vine. Actually, Lana is a talented actress, always in plays around Los Angeles. So tell us how great you are, Lana.
Well, most of the time, I'm just cheering. I teach cheerleaders in and around the valley, so that's where you'll catch me doing most of my real skills.
Real skills.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. And we have the beautiful Diana London, the star of frequent flyer clubs and B-list block parties. Actually, Diana is in the stockbroker industry. She used to be an actress, and she's always jet-setting around the world. So tell us about yourself.
I love to travel, and I'm a headhunter, so it's fun. I get to meet a lot of new people and talk to new people all the time.
Oh, great.
And offer them greater opportunities.
Welcome, and I hope you did your homework. We're going to analyze some interesting and funny topics, and if we have time at the end, we can discuss the always popular topic, gaffes, peccadillos, and Lana's personal life.
There's so much of that to talk about. Can't wait.
So the first news item which I found was coming from Bolivia, where prostitutes have gotten very upset because the government decided to close the brothels. And so they've decided to sew their lips together. In fact, they've already done this, which I would imagine is pretty painful. And they said if policy does not change within 7 days, they are going to bury themselves alive.
Well, what I find so crazy about that is it makes no sense why anyone would sew their lips together if they're going to protest. Because how can you say anything or speak your piece if you got your lips sewn together?
Well, I believe they can still work, Diana. You know, there are other parts of the body in their profession that they can use.
Well, yes.
They can't. It's illegal now, though. They'll get arrested.
Oh, well, it's just sad when you lose business like that. But I doubt that any of our hometown honeys around here would be sewing their lips together.
Around here, it would be high-class call girls. I don't think prostitution is a good word for that. And since it's Halloween, I decided to dress up like a high-class call girl today.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And collect a lot of heads.
Well, I think it's interesting that studies show that women tend to be violent against themselves, whereas men are violent against others. And these prostitutes feel that they're somehow going to appeal to the conscience of the great leaders. I mean, I can't even imagine our soldiers in Iraq saying, oh, we're going to sew our lips and bury ourselves alive if you don't do what we want you to do. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting that there's this difference.
Yeah, they're very dramatic.
Yeah.
Very extreme.
It seems like some of our more famous hometown honeys have found other ways to beat the system. I mean, they go out, they get investors, they get publishers, they go to the Senate, and, you know, they write a book or something.
Okay, the next topic I found was coming from Germany, and they have determined that the most stolen books end up on the bestseller list. So now when your book is stolen, in fact, up to 5% of books are stolen out of bookstores every year. So it's actually, you know, pretty high. And it's not the poor people that do the stealing. According to the shop owners, they see people driving around, you know, out and away in fancy cars. Perhaps those were stolen too. I don't know.
Right.
So it's, you know, it's kind of an interesting thing. I know that the book in the 1970s, the most stolen book was a book titled "Steal This Book." And one of the other most stolen books is the Bible, which is pretty funny because people who steal probably need the Bible more than anyone else.
It's so funny. Well, you know, they do give them in the hotels. I would think maybe they were saying, oh, it must be a free gift.
Well, yeah, I mean, people probably do take them from hotel rooms like they take the towels and everything else. I'm sure it's like, you know.
But goodness me, people are reading.
And they've been stealing a lot of the American books too, so it goes to show you how creative we are. And
Al Gore's
Yes.
book,
Yes.
Inconvenient Truth, is one of the most stolen books also, so he can be very proud.
And
Yeah.
why read the book when you can see the movie, right? I mean, what's that? The companion
and Dan
piece.
Brown books.
Okay, the next topic is O.J. Simpson and his stuff.
Oh my
Teflon
gosh.
or tough luck. So what do you think about O.J. as far as his escapade in Las Vegas?
I think that if he thinks he can get away with murder, that he feels he's powerful enough to get away with robbery or anything else. And
Well, first of all, it's alleged, and secondly, the jury did find him not guilty on the murder charges. Now, I am probably the only person in this country who actually never watched even 1 second of the O.J. footage, so I have no opinion on the matter. But I think on this particular robbery situation, you know what? I support him. I can understand, because I've had my own O.J. moments where I lived in Las Vegas. I had a girlfriend who stole my boots, and I called the police in Las Vegas, just like O.J. I said, she stole my boots. Get my boots back. And they said, well, you can file a report. And of course, I knew I'd never see the boots again doing that. So I went over and I knocked on her door. I said, I want my boots back. And she didn't answer the door, and that was it. Another occasion, when I was a child, I was about 16 years old, my dad was dating this woman, and my emerald ring had disappeared. And I was at her apartment with a friend, a girlfriend. We were taking care of her cat, and I found my emerald ring in her apartment. And I thought, oh my God. So we started searching her apartment thinking, what else does she have? And I actually found some other things of mine there. And so not only did we take my stuff back, but we said, let's take some of her stuff too. And we did take some of her things. And then like 2 weeks later, not only was my stuff missing from my house, but her stuff was gone too. So she'd obviously stolen them back again. So I can understand wanting to get your stuff back, knowing that possession is what, 9/10 of the law, and understanding that you're not going to see it again if you don't like show up and do it. And I understand that. So I don't know, what do you think about
Well,
the
is it
O.J.
stealing
you know
if it's
what?
really yours?
I know, that's the question.
I just forgot. I can't say anything. I was paid off not to say anything. So
Who
I better
paid
just-
you?
Oh, I can't
Give me
say.
their number. I want to call them. Maybe they'll pay us too.
So yeah, so I mean, I can kind of understand. I also think that it's, you know, the people that had the guns in the situation, it seems like law enforcement should be going after them more than O.J., only because O.J. has a name and because a lot of people feel this desire for revenge because of the previous situation.
They all kind of turned on him, I guess. They've all made deals.
Yeah, 3 of them have made deals so far. And one of the people was an individual who happened to have a gun.
Wow.
So I do know that at least one of the people did have a permit to carry a gun. And I also understand that they were invited into the room. I mean, it's not like they burst in. They were invited up there. And so, you know,
What we have is a group of real American gangsters here on our hands.
you think so?
Well, they're carrying guns, right? Gangsters have guns. Isn't that what gangsters do?
Well, both cases are two separate entities, but I think O.J. is not in favor of a lot of people, you know, because of the past. And when something like that comes up, they are going to hold it against
Well,
them.
actually, public opinion has changed a lot because apparently, according to what I read in the newspaper, that black opinion was very much in support of him initially and back in 1995. And now it's pretty much consistent with what the white opinion is with regards to the situation. I don't think it's just because of the robbery, but it's also because of the book, the If I Did It book, and I think that that's kind of turned the tide a little bit. And, you know, it's odd to me because I thought after the murder situation that, you know, he was probably at rock bottom and he couldn't really go lower, and it seems like he has, and he really should have like put in some good PR, you know, helped some needy children or done something to start boosting his image instead of actually pushing himself down
Boy,
further.
I tell you what, he and
True.
Britney Spears could really benefit from a good publicist, huh?
Yeah.
Or a good life coach.
Definitely, definitely.
Very true.
So the next topic is, in Australia, they are seeking men to be condom testers. They need 200 men. They have an ad with a very voluptuous woman that's on the internet so that men can apply. They would like humorous replies if possible. There is no pay, but there is a drawing, so I think you can get about $800 if you win the drawing. So what do you think of this?
Well, any job that's called a sex executive is pretty unique.
Well, I figure men are probably, you know how men always go up to women, they say, you know, I only have 2 weeks to live. Now they can say, This is important research.
Important research. I'm a condom tester. Come on, honey.
I could blow them like
your
balloons. I guess we could just make sure there's no holes in them. You know?
What would you want to do if someone were, if you could be paid to do anything? What would you want to do? I mean, I would think of the movie Big with Tom Hanks, where he got to play with toys, right?
Well, that seems a nice, innocent type job. But if you're looking along the lines of pleasure, I'm kind of thinking maybe I'd like to test out all the great massage therapists around the world.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good one. I like that. That's good.
Just put their hands all over you.
You could just write a book on that. And you could just call them up and say, I'm writing a book and I'm ranking. I want to put you in that book and I want to give you a really good position in that book. So I need an hour massage today. That's a good answer.
I think like tasting at different restaurants all around the world and getting to travel to all of those places, that would be nice.
A food taster.
You know?
Food taster. I mean, there are people that are food tasters.
But have you also heard of the pooper scoopers out there? If your business ever gets really slow, I hear pooper scoopers make like 3-figure
You want to be a pooper scooper?
Well, I'm just saying, if, business got slow, it's a possibility.
You would want to be a pooper scooper.
There's actually
you could do my
pooper
yard.
scoopers that make, they actually
do.
They actually like make 6-figure incomes. They make a lot of money. You'd be surprised.
Is it per scoop?
Easy. Oh, per house.
People that pick up poop in the backyard get a 6-figure income?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm in
Florida,
the wrong
all
business because last I checked, we're not getting paid for this, are we?
Absolutely. They are.
That's true. Okay, the next topic. A German man was going through a divorce, and what he did is he went to his house, he chainsawed the house in half, and he forklifted half of it away and put it at his brother's house. That's what he did.
He woke up on the wrong side of the divorce here, didn't he? I mean, he is really upset.
Well, just think anytime there's a divorce, it gets ugly, there's a lot of hostility, and, people get crazy. They do.
But he sawed his house in
vengeance.
half. I think he's just trying to vie for the next Saw movie. Saw 20 or whatever it is in the sequel.
He wanted to make the news.
He wanted to make the news, and
I don't think the insurance is going to cover it either, so.
Probably not.
Yeah.
They won't.
Okay, next topic is presidential election. This is a very exciting topic. And so what do you guys think about this? According to, my biggest bone to pick with the whole thing is this two-party system that we have. And according to statistics, 40% of the country consider themselves independents. And frankly, I'm pulling for Stephen Colbert. Hillary Clinton is here, I see.
Wow, Hillary! How nice to have you here today. Wow.
Yes, I think I'm the best.
Looking good.
Is that because it's Halloween today is why you decided to
Absolutely.
Pull out your mask?
I made 67% of the ugliest costume and scariest costume this year.
You actually have buck teeth. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
That's probably just because of the rubber. They didn't get to test that like those condom people do.
But I am the best negotiator, and I have a lot of experience at the White House, and if I go there, I'm taking Bill with me. And I used to like John Edwards until he thought he was prettier than me.
Oh my, there is some competition there.
So at this point, I'm supporting Stephen Colbert because it's kind of this anti-political statement. And what's pretty funny to me is that according to Rasmussen poll, when they did telephone calls to various individuals throughout the country and asked them, would you vote for Hillary Clinton, Rudy Giuliani, or Stephen Colbert? He got 13% of the vote. And there was also this Facebook. There's this website called Facebook, and Barack Obama had said he wanted a million people to sign up on Facebook to support him, and who are going to vote for him. And this was like 9 months ago, and he has 388,000 people so far. Within 5 days of announcing his candidacy, Stephen Colbert had over 1 million people, and now he's at 1 million too. And I just think it's hysterical. I think it's just great.
Well, isn't that the power of a great comedy?
It's great. It's just great bucking the system.
Show.
Yeah, it's really great.
But I wonder about what percentage did you say count themselves as independents?
40%.
40%. Well, is that because they're just too lazy to declare a side?
No.
They just don't want to tell you?
Some people don't want to be part of a side. And, you know, it's like the Democrats and the Republicans, I really feel that they just want to continue the stranglehold, and they want to, you know, they'd love to just be the only party, but if they have to share, they only want one other party to share with. And so they put pressure on people to say, well, you know, you're going to be throwing the election to Bush if you vote for Nader, that kind of thing. You know, there's this pressure out there that you have to vote with a party or your vote is not going to count. And you're never going to have truly have third parties, a fourth party, fifth party, unless people actually be bold and go out there and say, okay, I'm going to vote for who I want to vote for, and I'm not just going to vote for, you know, one of the two parties. And you know, to me also, the term bipartisan is so offensive. You hear it all the time when you listen to television, bipartisan. Well, I like the term nonpartisan because I'm not bipartisan. I'm not interested in either party. I consider myself an independent, and I feel that nonpartisan is how people should be thinking. They shouldn't be thinking of only satisfying the two parties. They should be thinking about those 40% of independents out there.
Well, coming from a background of athletics, I certainly believe in pulling for your team. So whichever team you belong to, that's where you need to throw your full support. Mm-hmm. And to me, it is a competition in the biggest way and on the highest stage in our land. Mm-hmm. And you know, you got to root for your team. Right.
Do you have anything to say, Hillary?
Well, all I can say is that John Edwards is a much worse trial lawyer than I ever was.
You're kind of obsessed with John Edwards, aren't you?
Yeah. But I definitely, well, I'm going to go for it. Everyone vote for me. Never underestimate the power of a woman. We need someone else in office.
Well, there you go, Hillary. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Maybe Hillary should wear the fruit. I have a hat here. I don't know if Hillary could get this on her big head. But we have a hat for the most absurd comments. It's the fruit head hat.
Oh, it looks nice.
It doesn't fit on Hillary, but when Hillary takes her mask off, I bet it will fit if Hillary would like to wear that. She could be the official fruit head for this segment of the show.
Oh, I like that phrase, the official fruit head.
The official fruit head, yes. And we also have another hat here if anybody is especially smart today.
That would be you, Charlotte.
No,
you're the smart girl.
Not that everybody hasn't been smart. This is the on fire hat. So if somebody's on fire, would you like to wear this hat?
Oh, I don't know that I'm on fire.
And maybe you'll
but I can make up a cheer about being on fire.
Do you want to tell me your cheer?
Oh, that would be great.
Oh, well, I have to think.
Like firecracker.
Well, it's like, get fired up. Is it fun?
It's very high.
Go with the bow, but that's okay. It's a high hat.
Okay, next topic.
Am I going to keep the hat on?
You don't have to.
Okay.
You're only on fire for like 30 seconds.
A second, and then it's done. Just so Hollywood,
You're not on fire anymor, but that's
so
okay.
Hollywood. 30 seconds of you on fire, and then you're done.
Okay, Amsterdam. A barber, you know, like cut hair barber.
A hair person.
Yes. He has stabbed his second client with scissors. The other guy died in 2000, and apparently it was considered self-defense the first time, which I assume the guy didn't like his do and said, you gave me a weave, and the guy killed him. I don't know. But it's kind of bizarre that anyone would continue to go to a barber who had actually murdered one of his customers.
Wow. I know I wouldn't.
Well, you wouldn't probably go to a barber anyway, would you, Hillary?
Anyone who's going to go to a hairstylist or a barber, then they should get a background check on their hairstylists and barbers, so you feel safe when you walk in the door.
That's interesting, but mainly I think women are usually the ones that get most upset about a bad haircut.
Yeah, you should.
Haven't you
That's
heard
true.
some of your friends really talk just in the, woo?
I didn't even know men still went to barbers, although my husband goes to a barber, but you know, I kind of thought they were replaced by salons, you know.
But that is one dangerous barber. You don't want to get around that man with some scissors.
I had some funny titles for this segment. The title that we're using is Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow. But I had the Do or Die was another option.
Do or die.
Or Barbers, a Dying Profession. I thought those were all kind of cute.
That is cute.
I like the do or die for sure.
Okay, next topic. Britons are considered less popular than other Europeans, according to a survey. Now, what they did is they took a whole bunch of different Europeans. They took Spanish and French and Germans and Dutch and the British, and they made them all fill out a poll in advance saying, what do you think of these different groups. And then they had to spend 2 days with all of the different people from these different groups. And at the end, they had to do another survey. And the only group that went down in popularity were the British. And so now British are less popular than their food, I guess, or equally popular. And their food is not very popular, take it from me.
I always think the British were so much more charming. I mean, when you see a lot of the movies and the acting, you always see the standard English, British accents, and yeah, it always lures you in.
I mean, I think that's one reason they're able to publicize this survey is because it's politically correct to do it, because the Brits can take it. You know, they're, you know, ruled the world for so long, and they had this big empire, and they're, you know, they can take it. And I always wonder if the results had come out differently, you know, if they would publicize. I don't know if there's some kind of a minority group in Europe. I don't know if the Irish are considered a minority, or the Polish, or if there's some group that's kind of looked down upon, or the French. We look down on the French in America. I don't know.
Was this study done in France? I mean, do they like anyone? Does France
Well,
like
it was,
anyone?
I don't know where it was done exactly. I just know it was done in Europe. It didn't, the article didn't say exactly where, but I just think it's kind of interesting because, you know, whether you can, you know, publicize your results or not may have to do with whether the results are something that would be considered acceptable, is what is.
Well, I know a lot of the British look down on the Irish.
Yeah, that's
so
why I'm saying. That's why
definitely.
I'm not sure if it had come out differently.
So it could have a lot to do
So.
with that too. And just being kind of cold. Some of the Brits can be a little cold, but I still like
Oh, I thought you meant the temperature.
Yeah, the temperature too. Rainy and cold.
Okay, another topic. Illegal immigration, very hot topic, and hot topic in the country and in California. And there has been, they tried to put forth a bill in Washington, D.C. Actually, they've tried to do a few now, and they haven't succeeded so far. So what is your view on illegal immigration? I don't think I need to describe. I have a lot of statistics, which are pretty interesting statistics. For example, in California, Latinos will be a majority by 2042. And in 2050, Latinos will comprise 52%, whites will be 26%, Asians 13%, blacks 5%. And a lot of the you know, when Congress was trying to put through this Immigration Act, Reform Act, a lot of you know, talk radio was really one of the main mechanisms for overturning this particular bill. And I think of talk radio as the new town hall meeting. I think it's actually really wonderful on any issue because it's very immediate, and you're in your car driving somewhere and you hear it on the radio, and they tell you, pick up the phone, here's the number, email, you know, they call Senator Feinstein, you know, whatever it might be, and you're sitting there anyway, and so people start emailing and calling, and you know, you can really make a big impact through talk radio, and you know, especially the local shows, because that's when they're looking on local issues, and you can do some really great stuff with local issues and the local politicians. So, this is a really complicated topic, so we'll spend a little time on this.
I mean, I have mixed feelings. I mean, being that I'm on this side of the fence, yeah, I think we have to get things a little more under control. There's a lot going on with surveillance. I mean, Boeing is doing a lot with the surveillances at the borders, and there's just so much that's being done, but it's still not enough as far as controlling it, keeping it controlled, getting them deported back to Mexico. They send a lot of letters, and it doesn't actually work, and it just goes back and forth for a long time. So they need to get that under control. Then when I look at the other side of the fence, I realize, you know, some people want to get ahead in life, and, you know, you can't blame someone for trying to do better with their life. So I have compassion for the Mexicans, or if the Canadians come over the border. I just... So that's kind of a hard thing for me as far as humanity goes, because I want to see them have a better life. And then on the other hand, if it's going to hurt our economy, or if we're going to have to like tread water and try to help someone drowning, then that's not good because we're hurting ourselves. But we also have to control the people that pay these illegal immigrants so much lower money, because if they're going to control the people coming over the border, then they need to control how we pay the illegal immigrants.
I think they need to enforce. I mean, they need to enforce against employers. I mean, I actually am pretty.
Well,
I have a really. I mean, I don't believe in the wall, so I don't agree with the Republicans on that particular position, because I don't think that's really going to do anything. The wall's really going to help enough anyway, and I think it's going to hurt the environment and hurt some of the species of animals that need to get back and forth, et cetera. But I think that we really need to come down on employers and have some sort of card for employment so that people can be readily identified. I personally don't believe in educating illegal people that are here illegally. I think the only thing I'd probably offer is the emergency room services. I mean, we spend a lot of money. 29% of the prison population in the U.S. is illegal. It costs $1.6 billion a year. 23% of the jail population in Los Angeles is illegal. That costs us $150 million a year. 41% of the children at LAUSD are English learners, and that's costing $3.1 billion a year. And the LA Times did a study on one of the largest gangs in LA, and it was 60% illegal. The dogfighting is done by gangs, and many of them, are not legal citizens. And so I don't know. I just feel like we have a lot of issues here, and I really feel we need to be tough on our borders. I mean, you think about, for example, comparing it to people who crash school districts. I mean, just to kind of, you kind of illegally go to a school that's not in your district. And what do the district frequently do? They follow you home. They do all of these things to make sure that you really attend the proper school, that you live in the area where you attend, and yet we don't do the enforcement about people here that are costing taxpayers quite a bit of money. So, I understand, people want to make a better life, and I understand that, but everybody in the world can't come to the United States. I mean, they just can't. I mean, I'm sure there are people from a lot of countries that would love to live here, and I understand that, and I just think we need to enforce.
Well, these are enormous numbers to deal with, enormous.
Yeah.
And when you think about just if it was someone coming to your house who was unwelcome, you might be able to deal with it on a small scale. But when you look at these huge numbers that you have to manage, it has gotten so out of hand. And how do you tackle that problem? It has got to stop. There's got to be a plug that is put in, pulled out, somehow fixed where this hemorrhaging stops. We just have to stop the hemorrhaging of America, and that is with the numbers that you talked about, the $150 million that we're losing in LA, supporting prisoners who are in our country illegally, which, mind you, the reason they're in prison is because they've broken some other law of our state besides breaking the law of just coming into our country.
And we have something called Special Order 40 in Los Angeles, which the City Council has reinforced and put in place, and that means officers can't ask status. When they can't ask you if you're illegal, you have to actually commit a crime, and then you can, investigate whether they're legally here or not. But still, many who commit crimes are never deported. So it's, something the police, I really think that LA needs to change their policy. I don't really believe in us being a sanctuary city. And, I can see why the U.S. government wouldn't want to provide money to cities that are sanctuary cities, because they'd say, why should we give money for your population, your illegal population, when you're not enforcing the federal laws? So I can understand that point of view from Washington, too. So anyway, well, that is our show today. Woo-hoo. And I've enjoyed having you guys.
Well, thank you so much, Charlotte. It's been a great pleasure to chat with you about some uncommon sense things and some maybe more common sense things.
Yes, well, thanks for joining us, and I hope the show has brought some uncommon sense into your life. And as you putter through your day, remember, everybody's wrong but me. See you next time.
It's getting hard to separate the facts from fiction, but I think I can say with obvious conviction that in this old world, everybody's wrong but me. Everybody's wrong to disagree with me. That really chaps my eye. I thought it all through so very carefully. There's no point even considering the other side. Still I keep on trying to remain the magnanimous type. I'll ignore all the vicious slander and the petty slights. But with the balance of the universe